Hello everybody, it's Maikito, and quickly going over last video's picks, was so close to sweeping the YouTube props. Afrifa higher than 1.5 shots hit, Navarro higher than 2.5 shots hit, Hector Herrera higher than 1.5 shots hit, and then I also took his lower on 92.5 passes. That one hit as well. If you took the bump at 88.5, he would have hit anyways. Loic Badet to go higher than 80.5 passes, absolutely smashed that one, went over, and it helped that they went to extra time. Even before extra time, he had already hit, but it's still good for us. And then our only miss from YouTube was Justin Glad to go lower than 0.5 shots. He took two in like the first 10-20 minutes. I say he gets his headers from his shots from corners, and he happened to get two headers from corners from the first two, so just unfortunate there. I did have an added play, and that was Fernandez to go higher than 1.5, and he unfortunately only had one. But when it came to the YouTube ones, one away from sweeping, had a great day. Didn't post a video yesterday because there was only one game. I just felt like there wasn't enough. But there are a couple Leagues Cup games tomorrow, and then a lot of friendlies, so could give some money lines there as well. So I'll just get straight into the picks. My first one is Dennis Bouanga to go higher than 1.5 shots assisted, playing for LAFC at home going up against Austin. He's gone over this mark in his last 3 out of 5 games at home, and he averages 2.1 at home. The ones where he didn't go over this mark, he went under with 1 against Salt Lake, where LAFC only took 9 shots, and the other game he went under with 1 as well against Columbus Crew, where they took 17 shots, which that one was just surprising that he didn't go over. But now they're playing against Austin, who first of all allows 16 shots away from home, and they're weak against wingers. And I say that because first of all, LAFC averaged 18 shots at home, which is a really high mark for any team. And not only is he a great dribbler, he's a counter-attack threat, he's a good key passer, he plays off the wings, so he's just a perfect matchup and a good player to exploit against his Austin FC defense. He's in his last 4 matches against them, he's gone over in 2 out of the 4 games, and the ones where he didn't go over, he had just 1. It's just whether he gets that second, and I think he will. In the last 2 games that in the Leagues Cup, the 2 Leagues Cup games that Austin have played, keep in mind both of these were at home. They gave Monterrey 21 shots and they gave Pumas 25 shots. And now they're playing away from home where they allow a lot of shots. And if they think this is just a good matchup for LAFC and for Bouanga to exploit, you could take a look at this 5.0 shots, but with a high mark like that, anything can happen. I feel like he's more likely to get those 2 shots assisted before he goes over 5 shots. So like Dennis Bouanga to go higher than 1.5 shots assisted. My next play is Jose Caicedo to go higher than 0.5 shots, playing away from home for Pumas going up against Vancouver. He's gone over in his last 4 out of 5 games. He's a long shot taker. You guys know I like to take people that take long shots, especially for a prop where he only has to take 1. 5 out of the 7 shots that he's taken in the league have been from outside the box, which is good. Like I said, he takes those long shots. And the 2 shots that he didn't take from outside the box were both headers from corners, and I like that because first of all, he's 6 foot tall, so he's a big frame, big body that can win those headers, and he wins 88% of his aerial duels, which is really good. Most players win about 50% of their aerial duels, while he wins 88%. So as long as he gets at least one try from the corner where it goes towards him, really good chance he hits, and that's without considering the fact that he can just get this from a long shot. We just need him to take 1 shot. He's gone over this mark in 1 out of 2 games in the Leagues Cup that came from a corner. He's taken 2 in his last 3. In the last League Cup that he took 2 shots in 3 games, and he averages 0.8. He averaged 0.8 shots in the Clausura last season, so it's just whether he takes that 1 shot, and I think he will against Vancouver. So like Jose Caicedo to go higher than 0.5 shots. My last prop is Guilherme Birro to go higher than 1.5 tackles, playing away from home for Austin FC going up against LAFC. He's gone over his last 2 out of 5, which might not sound good, but first of all, the 2 that he went over was in his last 2 games, and against Monterrey he had 4, and against Pumas he had 2. The ones where he went under, he went right under with 1 against Charlotte, Dallas, and Seattle, who aren't as good as an attack as Monterrey and Pumas. And I say that because now they're playing LAFC, who have really good attack, much better attack, and I feel like I expect a lot of Austin FC defending, especially away from home, so they're going to rely on him on the wings. LAFC have good wingers, and they play off the wings, they play off the counters, so he's going to have to be there to try to stop their attacks. And he's been in form in his last 2 games, so like I said, going over with 4 and 2. He averages 1.5 tackles. It's whether he goes over, and I think he will. And he played them not that long ago in June, and he went over and smashed his mark with 5 against LAFC. So again, I just think this is a good matchup, and he's going to have a lot of work to do and a lot of defending to do against the LAFC, who's great in the attack, who has a much better team. So like Guilherme Birro to go higher than 1.5 tackles. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Maikito in the description. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And then I also have my YouTube membership for those that are interested in that. You get the content before anybody else. Try to avoid potential bumps and plays getting taken away. Great way to support the channel, and you can also support the channel by using either my Cashapp or my Fliff. Either one. Cashapp, obviously, anything you donate is really much appreciated, never required. And then Fliff is just another code for another app where I play my money lines, and when I send money line plays, that's where they come from. But other than that, I really appreciate anybody who supports me in any way. My first money line play is the LAFC money line against Austin. I kind of went over it when I went over the player props. They've won 10 out of 15 games at home that they've played this season, and they played once in LA last year where they beat Austin 3-0. And Austin have lost 7 out of 12 away games that they have played. They've only scored 6 goals in 12 games and have conceded 18. So not only are they weak in the attack when they play away from home, they're not good defensively either. Austin are weak on the counter attack, and that's where LAFC like to play. They're really good on the counter attack, and not only that, LAFC is good at protecting the lead. So once they get that lead, they're good at keeping it. That's against Austin FC side, who, like I said, away from home, really seen the struggle in scoring, and they've lost 4 out of the last 5 away games. So I just think in general, LAFC have a much better attack. The only way I see this maybe struggling is if Austin score first, and then LAFC somehow struggle to score. But they're playing at home where they average almost 3 goals a game, and I think this is just a game where they can easily outscore Austin, and Austin just don't seem to do well in the attack in general. They won their last 2 games, but that was at home against Liga MX sides, and now they're playing away from home against the LAFC side that they've played bad against before. So I like the LAFC money line against Austin. And then 2 quick friendly money lines that I want to mention real quick that you can also add. Like I mentioned in the last video when I mentioned these friendlies, I'm not going to go too depth into them because they're just friendlies, and I'm just trying to find places you can add on. So the first one is the Atletico first half 3 money line against Kitchi. It's a Hong Kong team, much worse team. Atletico Madrid have a much higher quality team, and I think you're getting decent value by just taking the first half money line. They just won their last game against Getafe, and for what it's worth, I know it's just friendlies, but they're unbeaten in the last 4 away games, so take that into consideration. I like the Atletico first half 3 money line. And then I like to for the Cadiz and Betis game to go higher in 2.5 goals. Betis have played 4 friendlies so far and they've gone over in 3 out of 4 games. And Cadiz have only played 1 where they were warming up, and they played Burnley, and it was a 1-1 game, so they went right under with 2. But I think with Betis can get this mark on their own. You can see that they've played well. The only game where they didn't go over was against Liverpool. So like Cadiz and Betis game to go higher than 2.5 goals. And then the last play that I like, that I'll go a little more in depth on, is the FC Copenhagen money line against Ostrava. In general, I just think they're a higher quality team, much better team, and they're playing against them at home. It's a Europa League conference qualification, I believe, and this ultimately comes down to they will outscore Ostrava in my opinion. They've scored 14 goals in 5 games that they've played this season, so they average almost 3 goals a game, and they have really good players like El Yunusi, good on the wing. They have Delaney, who's a well-experienced player, and they have underrated and not well-known striker in Oskarsson, and they've won the Champions League the last 2 seasons, so they're a good team. They have good experience, and now they're playing at home against Ostrava, who last season in 35 games scored 56, but they also conceded 48, so it shows you that they're not it's not like they're good defensively or anything, and they're playing against a much better, higher quality team. So I like the Copenhagen money line against Ostrava. As always, if I do have any added plays, which I likely will, it'll be around an hour to 30 minutes before kickoff time, because more plays are added on, or lineups change, or lineups aren't what I expect them to be, or players subbed out, and stuff like that. So I usually do have more added plays. It's in the pinned comment in this video, the last video. So if you do want any more added plays, I want to see. Sometimes I might add them in the middle of the day, so you can always just come back and check in the pinned comment as well. And then if you notice, the videos are mostly always the prize picks. I do always post underdog as well, but lately they just seem to be posting them later. The only thing they have is like goalie props, but when it comes to player props, when it comes to shooting and stuff like that, they always add them on later on in the day. They just seem to be a little later, so I always keep an eye out for those. And as always, if the picks that I have for prize picks add on underdog, obviously you can take them there. And then when they do add on, I look and see if there's any good value plays. I did that last time whenever the Pumas played Pumas game, and added Cesar Huerta, and that one had hit. So if I do have any added plays, just come back and check. Like I said, it just depends on how late they add them. But other than that, I hope everybody liked the video. If you could like the video, comment as well. Helps me boost the video out to more people. And if you could subscribe, it's free. Turn on notifications so you get notified when videos are out. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.